dumisa ubusuku nemini ngoyivula kuchiche inhliziyo ngenjabulo ngibona umhlengi wami njalo njalo Jehova genolbishayo yangiqinisa edwaleni yafaka ingoma kimbi namhla yokuvula hallelujah Yobambaza hengikwenzeleyo baze bonke bamubone ngamehlo wandise insindise duze nakude bathembele kuNkulunkulu bonke Jehova genolbishayo wangiqinisa edwaleni wafaka ingoma kimi namhla yokuvula hallelujah. Choice from the congregation 195. You prefer it in which language, sir? In Zulu. Okay. All right. All right. We also have a visitor in our midst, my good sir, the gentleman. Right over there, we are sharing lunch together. It's his first time at Golden Harvest Church. What does the church say about that? Amen. Wonderful. Amen. So he said he was busy and then was just Googling which church to visit. And then he was led to Golden Harvest Church. Absolutely. Ngiyafuna lo mlilo wabangcwele basendulo amaqondise ezulwini benesibinde nkosini Inkosi lo moya O Paulu Abrahama O Atambe Paule Wazuzamandla ezulu Amandla begu Elisha Asapela ini namhla Akazimli sumo zisi Ujobe wambegezela Kosi kumbula edulo Pindu tele umsawako Masizi pegi seguwe Telu moya wako njele Kosi kumbula edulo Pindu tele umsawako sizibhekise kuwe thela umoya wakho ngcwele.
Amen.
Good afternoon and happy Sabbath, saints. Yes, we thank the Lord for bringing us once again in the afternoon for our program. We'll all stand and sing one stanza. The chorus does the runaway, I don't know. Just one stanza, and then after the one stanza, my brother, may you pray for us. You'll give us the opening prayer.
136. In Zulu.
136. Lapho shokona ngokuya
ngifuna ukuthemba njalo ngikhumbula ngenxa yami ukuze afe Calvary. uJesu ngumholi wami ongiholayo ngindlela umhlobo wami impela ngikhumbula Calvary. ngiyanda umthetho kaJesu ngikholwa isandla sakhe imnandi intando yakhe icwebiswe iCalvary. uJesu ngumholi wami ongiholayo ngindlela ngumhlobo wami impela ngikhumbula eCalvary. ngiya phambili ngesibindi uJesu seduze kwami ngithemba uJesu ngombona isihlobo seCalvary. uJesu ngumhloli wami ongiholayo ngindlela umhlobo wami impela ngikhumbula eCalvary.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for the love, we thank you for the guidance, thank you for the services that you have given to us, thank you for this program that you have created for us. May it be of value in our lives and may it make a difference in our lives. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen.
Okay. Thank you once again. As we get into the lesson for this afternoon, I will welcome and say to you, hey, just be ready for takeoff. Just be ready for takeoff. Yesterday when I was speaking to some of my friends, they are not here in Gauteng. So as soon as I was saying there is a program like this, they said, no, we'll join online. So you guys, wherever you are online, they were saying V1. So I never told much who is presenting. I said V1. So they know when V1 is online, everything is engaged. So let's enjoy. I know you get more, yes, man. The program that we're in it happened in Port Shepstone. So those guys, when I told them, they were like really, really happy about V1. So if you don't get much, just get more on the books. I was just telling the pastor that I saw my wife with happening. So there's happening for men and happening for women. And then V1. Yolanda, let me not say much more. Doctor, this is your time.
Thank you very much. Can I use one? Yes.
All right. My elder is reminding me that I never introduced you.
Okay.
Our speaker for this afternoon, I call him V1. But for those then who say, okay, it's Dr. G. Mwemba. He has been with us since morning. I know for those of us who were here this morning, Sabbath school, you heard 1 or 2 or 3 things. In the afternoon, you will hear more from Dr. Mwemba. Mkandla will testify when we're in Bloemfontein when he presented something about men. So thank you for taking that opportunity to be here as men. I believe you will get more. Pastor, this is your time.
Good afternoon. Yes. I'm glad we are here, and I'm glad I'm here. Amen. Yes, I'm glad I'm here, and I see that most of our men are not around because they have gone to comfort one of us, Pastor Svanyoni, who lost a wife. So, yeah, I hope they will join us as time goes by. Okay, my name is Gift, as you have been told, Gift Nene Mwemba. Now, the minute you hear the surname Mwemba, you know it's across the Limpopo. Not only the Limpopo, but the Zambezi as well. You know, I'm from across the Zambezi. I'm Zambian. I'm Zambian ID, Zambian DNA, Zambian genetics. There is nothing modified about me. I'm originally Zambian. Yeah, there's nothing South African about me apart from being a permanent resident. Yes. I've been here since 2006. So, and I served at the SAU for 17 years. And this year, 28 February, I took retirement. So, now I'm a business person. So, I'm going to talk to you and do business with you. Amen. Yeah. I'll talk to you and then I'll do business with you. I want to share some things. But before I share, I have a line of books which I call the Happening Series. Happening Series. My slogan is, or my motto, be the asset, start happening. You happen, it happens. You don't happen, it doesn't happen. That's my motto. Be the asset, start happening. You happen, it happens. You don't happen, it doesn't happen. And I have a lot to share with you this afternoon. And fortunately, I have not been told the time to stop. So I'll stop when I'm empty. Then I'll stop. Amen. When I'm empty, you'll be full. I can guarantee you that. So, the books I write, this is for young people. Start happening. Start happening. I wrote this book in 2018, February and March. I started selling it April 4, 2018. This book. This is the first book that earned me personal money. This book. I have sold, I can say roughly, over 15,000 of these books. This little book, I happened on this book. And it happened. Yeah. I happened on this book, it happened. This book bought me my personal farm. It's not big, this book. So I believe in what I say. Be the asset, start what? Happening. Now I need to repeat that. Be the asset. As a person, you are an asset. But you can also behave like a liability. And cost yourself a lot. Are you following me? By creation, you are an asset. By creation, you are an asset. If you happen, it will happen. There is no magic, there is no witchcraft, there is no mysticism. It's just in happening. Act. That's my motto of life. Act on it. So I acted on this, and it's here, and I'm very happy with it. It helped me. Then I said, no, I need to write a book for women, not about women. I'm not a gynecologist. This is a book for women. For. It's entitled The Happening Woman. The Happening Woman. This book is almost like a manual or a handbook for women. I deal with a lot of their stuff in here. I wish I would mention a few of the chapters, just for your interest. The genesis of the happening woman. The genesis. The happening woman and her story. When you run out of fuel. The happening woman and the first husband. In this chapter, I'm saying to the women, one husband is not enough. Yes. Yes. One husband is not enough. That's what I'm saying in this book. One husband is not enough. When your wife or your girlfriend reads this book, they will tell you you are not enough. But you need to buy for your wife. No, you need to. No, it's a good risk. They say the higher the risk, the higher the what? Yes, the returns. That's business. I told you I'm going to do business with you. It's a very good risk. I'll tell you why. Because the life of a man belongs to a woman. The life of a man belongs to a woman. When you are married to a happening woman, your life is happening as well. And otherwise people say fortune is a woman. Fortune. If you want a fortune, get a woman. Get a good woman. You heard the sermon in the morning? God was not making a woman. He was making a good thing. Yeah. So you want good things? Get a woman. Yeah. And by the way, it's not even Adam who asked to say, hey, I need a woman. No. God saw the gap. And I was telling one gentleman to say, if God said that it's not good for a man to whatever, to live alone, there is nothing you can do on earth to make it good to live alone. No, there's nothing. If God said it's not good for man to what? To live alone, there is nothing a man can do to make it good to live alone. No. You can't. If you live without a woman, just know that it's not good. No, it's not good, honestly speaking. It's just not good. And there's nothing you can do to make it good. You can't. It's not good because that statement is spoken before the entrance of sin. It's a pre-lapsarian statement before the fall. Now, it was not good for the unfallen man. How can it be good for the fallen? It's worse. It's worse. I'll give you time for questions. So I have this book, and this book talks about the chapter on the happening man, on the happening woman and the first husband. It's actually about education. It's not about love. It's about, I'm talking about education. Yeah, I'm saying to the women, marry 2 husbands. Marry education and marry one who puts on a trouser. That's what I'm saying to them. In the morning I was saying, if we are to do anything for you guys, there's one area you need to improve. It's your software. This book talks about their software. I'm a married person, and I can tell you, hey, women are an anchor, brethren. They anchor you, huh? Yeah, they anchor you, and if you want to live life, live under the leash. Stay under her leash. Are you with me? You will be a safer dog. You will be a safer dog. Dogs that are not on the leash, they get hit by cars. And by other dogs. So, stay under her leash, because she'll be able to pull you when you are beginning to smell rotten bones. Yeah? She'll pull you to life, to safety. Yeah. Stay under the leash. And of course, I talk about woman and image management, entrepreneur, the invoice, leadership, skills, health, mental wellness, grief process, understanding man. Yeah. Your wife will understand you better. And the mama's boy syndrome. How does a woman deal with a mama's boy? You know mama's boys, right? Yeah. Gender-based violence. I discuss it here. Yeah, so this is the happening woman. And then we have the happening man. What I'm going to talk about here is chapter 1 and 3. The book is about 19 chapters. So here, 20 chapters. I did a very good job on this one. So after I've talked to you, you will have to get yourself a copy and read it in your home. Now, I'm not saying get yourself a copy because I'll force you to buy. No. I'll convince you to buy. No, I'm serious. I'll convince you to buy. Who of you has read this book, Everyday Hero by Robin Sharma? Oh. You must read. Robin Sharma says, he did a research. He speaks to billionaires. Robin Sharma. He says, the one thing he has found, which is a hobby of the rich, is reading. Reading. I once bought a Sunday Times, the Star, Sunday Times, local. You know the Star? Yeah, Sunday Times. By the grace of God, I came on an article about rich people and what they buy. You know, rich people don't have weather, right? They are not subject to winter, whatever, whatever. Winter is ours. Cold weather is ours. They don't have such things. Because they have homes all over the world. They change. When it's winter here, they are in the northern hemisphere, where it's summer. When it's winter there, they come this side. Yeah. I went to Miami 2018. You know Miami? It's a tropical, it's in Florida, state of Florida. In Miami, there is an island for rich people. Rich people. There is no police station there on that island. Because there are no thieves. They all have enough that they can't steal anything. So there's no police and there's no bridge to that island. It's only boats and yachts. You know, these expensive things. They park their transport by the sea, on the sea. That's where the rich people have their homes there. Bezos, Jeff Bezos, has just bought a mansion in Miami, $68 million US. But he wants to pull it down and put up his design. How do you do that? But then Sharma says there's one thing characteristic of the rich. It's reading. And you know the explanation is that when you read, it's the best investment, because you'll come across an idea, one idea that will transform your life. Because business is a what? It's an idea. Just an idea. You'll come across an idea. For how much? For free. Almost free. You don't go to the university, but you get an idea from the book. One idea. The rest is history. And in this article that I was reading about, these guys compete on the number of books they are going to read during their holidays. And they asked Warren Buffett, what is your best time? He says, my best time is when I grab a book and I sit alone. What's the difference? Because when you read a book, you directly invest in your mental capital. That's what you do. Mental capital. And that's what we are all looking for in life. Mental capital. And so, yeah, I was explaining about these books. The Happening series, Start Happening, Happening Woman, The Happening Man. The Happening Man. So, yeah, I would encourage you to get a copy and invest in your mental capital. There's no better investment you can make. Mental capital. So, May 2, 2015, or 2 May 2015. Actually, on the 2nd, my son said to me, Daddy, there will be a fight tomorrow. Boxing. Now, I like boxing, unfortunately, though I don't have the hardware for it. But I like boxing. And I'll tell you why I like it. It's a sport, it's not violence. I know we Adventists might think it's violent. No, it's not violence. It's a what? It's a sport. They don't fight to kill each other. If you die there, you've just died by accident. But they didn't intend to kill you. It's a sport. So, my son says there will be a fight. And I said, what time is it taking? He says it will start at 3 a.m. 3 a.m. Yeah. Where? It will be in Las Vegas. It will be Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. He says, Daddy, that's a big fight. It's 300 million US dollars. So you better wake up and watch it. Okay. So at 2 a.m., it was very cold, so I took my blanket and went to the living room to watch the game. So I sit there and I'm watching the MGM grandstand. MGM is one of those places there. And people are walking in. The seats are empty like this. And I'm saying to myself, this is an empty thing. But then I see heavyweights walking in there. I remember seeing Denzel Washington walking in there. I said, oh, it's big. It's big. And so they are bringing these small fighters. They are fighting 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Then I said, no, man. I can't sit like this. I'm going back. So I stand up. Then I said, but I've spent already so many hours. I might as well sit. Then there came the guys. Mayweather, champion, title holder, challenged by the Filipino guy. A short thing. So they come there, and the fight starts. First of all, they introduce them. Who are they? Floyd Mayweather grows up in a one-roomed house, 8 of them, from poverty. Manny Pacquiao is a street boy who was spotted by somebody in the street. You know, he found these boys playing what? Boxing. But he saw the swiftness of Pacquiao's hands. Hey, that boy picked him, took him into training. So they get into the ring, and the fight starts. Of course, Mayweather won. But there was no knockout, because the guys were equal to each other. The winner took 180 million US dollars in 36 minutes. 36 minutes. Huh? Are you following me? Yes. 36 minutes. I'm calculating something. Give me a second. Yeah. 36 minutes. Floyd Mayweather was earning 5 million US dollars per minute. Per minute. 5 million US dollars. Every minute that was passing. That's what he was earning. Per minute. Every 60 seconds, the guy was making 5 million US dollars. Now that's money. That will take you 20 years to earn it. If you are like 5 million US dollars, that's what he was earning. Where? In the ring. What was he doing in the ring? He was not fighting. He was happening. He was happening. Are you getting my point? He was acting. He was happening. That guy did not invest into the banks or whatever. He invested where? Himself. He was using bone and muscle inside there. 5 million US dollars per minute. Now, of course, money also. But then, in the morning when I finished the watching, I took a walk. I normally walk on Sunday. I was walking. So I started thinking to say, let me see the economic effect of that fight to the world. The effect, 2 men in the ring happening. What was the effect to the world? Let me tell you what was happening. Flights to Las Vegas were fully booked. Flights. The pilots were not part of this boxing day. They were just doing their business. But the flights were fully booked from Russia, China, everywhere. Flights were fully booked. And you know how flights behave, right? And I like your church. It's like you are sitting on a flight, whatever. Yeah. You know how flights are, how tickets work? Yeah. Him at the corner there, if he bought his ticket early, he could be flying at 10,000. But if he bought it late, he'll be flying at 20,000. But they are sitting next to each other. And if he is Denzel Washington, that's it. And Denzel is flying at 30,000. You will fly at 40. That's the more important people are flying on that flight, the more expensive the flight becomes. So the flights were fully booked. The hotels were fully booked. The local transport was fully booked. The farmers were, everything was fully booked. The media was a frenzy to advertise during the fight. You know those breaks? To advertise during that fight. You know how they charge per second, right? They charge per second. It's thousands of US dollars. What was the nucleus? What was the center? 2 men. 2 men. That is the effect of a happening man. You happen, it happens. You don't happen, things don't happen. And be the asset. Start happening. Now I want to bring you to a formula. A formula. Do you know why are you called the human race, not the human species? Have you thought about that? Why are we called the human race? If you split that word, you will have human and a race. What is a race? A race is a race, right? That's right. If you take it from the species arena, a race is a competition. You race. So you are called the human race. In other words, you were born to race. You were born to race. You were born to race. And you know life is a race indeed. Because life has 2 lines, like in a race. There's a first, and all those lines are white, right? The first white line, that's where you do on your marks. Okay? You do on your marks. The last line, the finishing line. That's how life is. When you are born to race. You cannot choose not to race. You have to. Because if you choose not to race, you'll be trampled upon. That's how life is. And you start blaming people. Why me? No, but you're not racing. You've got to race. Whether you are going to heaven or not, you have to race. Are you listening to me? You have to join the flow of humanity and move with humanity. That's how life is designed. Even Paul says, I have run the what? The race. And I have finished. Paul is saying, hey, I started on the white line. And I crossed the last line. So you've got to race. Whether you are going to heaven or you are not, you have to. In other words, you have to happen. You have to be active. You have to be active. Now, God, I'll give you time for questions. Yeah, just hold your questions. You know, but you can't race without a formula. Life requires that you must have a formula. You cannot race without a formula. And by the way, the race I'm talking about doesn't happen on racing tracks. It happens between your ears. That's where the race is. That's where the formula should be. Last week I was watching the Netherlands. At the port of Rotterdam. Rotterdam is a big shipping port. They have run short of land. You know, Netherlands, 20% of it is below sea level. So they've become experts in handling water, waterways and everything. So now they want to expand their port. They need 2.5 miles by 3 miles to add more docking ports where the ships can whatever, you know. But now it's under the sea, so they need to create land. Guys, I was amazed. And I was amazed to the point of criticizing myself. No, criticizing myself and Africa in general. I'm coming home now. Africa in general. This is what I saw. Those guys, they designed a ship. It's called a dredger or dredging ship. The job of this ship is to go into the sea and bring soil, sand, so that they create land here. They create the land. And I watched how they do it. They take this ship out there. It has a vacuum cleaner. Massive thing. Vacuum cleaner. When they get out there, they pump water into the sea. They choose the type of sand that they want, which they can use. They go into the sea. They pump water at 120 miles per hour into the sea, to the bottom, so that they agitate the what? The sand at the bottom. They agitate it. And when it's being agitated, then they take in their vacuum cleaner and it sucks that water with the sand. At millions of gallons per second, before the sediment settles down, they suck it up. It is poured on the deck. On the deck, there is a sieve. They pour it there. The water runs off. The sand remains. They take that soil. That ship carries 60,000 tons. Now, 60,000 tons is what? 60,000 is 60 million kilograms of soil. They take it to the shore, they pack their ship, and then they pump it out. At a force, they pump the sand. And they create from the shore. They are creating their ground. And this guy says, you see all this, 2 weeks ago, this was the sea. Now this is land. That's what they did with the Hong Kong airport. If you go to Hong Kong, it's in the water. They built it from the sea. They brought it up. When the aircrafts come, they come on the water. Like you are going to touch the land in the sea. No. It's like the airport is floating. The runways. They land there. What do they have? Formula. Formula. You have formula, you can do almost everything. And you know, if I can add a little bit of politics. You know, in Africa, we are very good fighting the colonialists, right? Those who oppressed us, who took our land, who do what. Somehow, we have failed to sit and say, but what is their formula? Are you with me? Yeah. How did they get industrialized? What their formula? Because, let me put it this way, anybody who has a formula will rule those without formula. It's formula that rules. Formula. That's what rules. Without formula, you will die in oppression. You will die in poverty. Formula. You go to the N1, N3, and anywhere. Yesterday I was listening to the BRICS story. You know the BRICS meeting that is coming? 2 guys were analyzing it to say, what is BRICS bringing to South Africa? They were comparing the trade volume between the West and the East. China, India, and the rest. And they said, you know what? If you compare our bulk of trade with the West, UK and the European countries and America, China and Russia are bringing almost nothing to the South African economy. And so they were saying, we are caught now in between, because these 2 people have different or have opposing ideologies, right? The West is democratic, this side is communist. And these guys are fighting for Africa now, ideologically. Okay? So the question is, who shall we upset? If we upset the Western part, our economy will go down. If we upset the Eastern, our raw materials and supplies will go down. So who do we upset? So these guys were saying, hey, now we are walking a tightrope between the 2 blocks. But the point I'm making is, you go to these roads that lead to Durban or to Richards Bay. What will you see? You will see trucks loaded with copper from Zambia in its crude form, in blocks. That's what you see. It's going to Durban, it's going to Richards Bay to be shipped where? China, Japan, and everywhere else. But it will come back as copper wire. Very expensive. It will come back as copper wire. Why are we taking it there? Processing. What is processing? It's a formula. We don't have the processing formula. They do have the what? The processing formula. So when we ship our raw materials, we ship from areas without formula to areas with what? With formula. And I was thinking to myself, I wish each country would have institutions just for formulas. Formula institutions. Their job is just to diagnose and prognose. What do we need? How do we do it? That's industrialization. But I see on YouTube and what and people talk about what the white man has taken, what the white man has brought, religion, what religion has done to people. No, don't be too political. Bring a formula. Africa is looking for formula. Is looking for formula. You have the formula. My president now in Zambia, HH, with his counterpart, Tshisekedi of DRC, he is saying, you know what, these Europeans now are making electric vehicles. Okay? But they don't have cobalt, they don't have manganese, they don't have lithium to make the batteries for their EVs. What shall we do? Will we allow them to come and dig and ship? Or will we say, no, you are not taking it here. You will do it here. you will make it here in our presence so that we see how you do it. And after some time, we will buy you out. Once we've got a formula. But guess what? Yeah, guess what they have done? Guess what they did? Early this year, Kamala Harris was in Zambia to smoothen the relationships. Yes, the vice president was there. She was there. Before she came, Janet Yellen was there. Janet Yellen is the Minister of Finance in the US, but they call her secretary to the Treasury. She was there. And the question is, what is Janet looking for in Zambia? What is she looking for? Are you with me? They are very good at protecting their formulas because their formula is their industry. Japan is a floating factory. They just came up with a formula for Toyota. That's all. They have flooded the entire world with what? Toyota. They've patented that. You see, South Korea manufactures the microchip for computers, for cars and everything. If you read papers, during COVID, industry grounded to a what? To a halt. Even America couldn't manufacture because the chips were not available. They just discovered the formula for that. 23% of all the microchips made in the world are made where? In South Korea. Formula. As a man, you must have a formula. Have a formula of how you are going to do your things. Formula. Business is a formula. Alibaba. It's a simple formula, online, isn't it? Jeff Bezos started Amazon books online. Take a lot is a formula. The guys just came up with a, you know what? How best are we going to do this? And think and this, and then they started happening. While you are there on the podium making speeches about them and fighting them, no, they know you can't beat them with a speech. You can't. You can only beat them with a formula. Show us how to do it or do it. I mean, you hear people insulting each other, but after that, where are they going? To the airport. To do what? To fly. On an African formula? No, it's a Western formula. So they will listen to you and clap for you. But they know from there you are onto the Boeing 747 to fly on their Rolls-Royce engines. They designed that thing. Yeah. Formula. As a man, you must have a formula. Formula how you are going to lead your life, strategize, work your things out. Have a formula. If you don't have a formula, you'll be equipment in the hands of those who have formula. When you call yourself, when you are an employee, you know what an employee is? An employee is a person assigned to fulfill another man's what? Formula. That's an employee. Yes, that's us. That's us. That's why they give you a job description. Because you can't come there and do what you want. No, they assign you a job. They will say you are the foreman in this factory. Your job is to check all incoming inventory. That's your job. You'll be paid for that. But is it your inventory? Is it your stock? No, it's not. It's their stock. So an employee is a person assigned to implement the formula of another person. Is there anything bad in that? No, there's nothing bad. As long as you are selling a service and you are earning for selling the what? The service. Because when you work for somebody, you are actually selling your service. It's only that they buy it at a price. And unfortunately, they determine the what? The price. That's the bad part of it. You can't tell them to say, you're going to pay me so much. They will say, sorry, we'll find another one. We'll call you, yeah. And you know how stressful that statement is, you know? In an interview, I've interviewed people. Sometimes they will say, if we offer you the job, when are you ready to start? Then you know there's a green light. Yeah. But if they don't ask you that and they say, no, you will hear from us. Just be assured that's the last time you are hearing from them. And some will say, don't call us, we will call you. It's their formula, isn't it? You can't go and bang their doors to say, hey, guys, you never called me. Say, call you for what? It's their formula. So I'm saying, as a man, fight for formula. Fight for formula. As you work, as you do whatever you do, fight for formula. Strategize. Put your things in a particular order. Even in your personal life. No to say, I'm going to buy a house in Kempton Park. When I finish that one, I'll buy in Randburg. After that one, I'll buy in Soweto for rentals. That's your formula. Huh? People see you waking up, going to work, but in the head there's a what? There's a formula. There's a way you have strategized your things. Rather than living from hand to mouth, waking up every day without a formula. Even your own wife will ask you, hey, honey, what's our future? I see as we go to Pick and Pay, we push trolleys. We're living in this house, rented. What really lies ahead? Every man must spy the future. In other words, every man must occupy the future before you occupy the present. Yeah? Occupy the future. Know where you are going. If you know where you are going, you will know where to step now. If you don't know where you are going, you won't know where to step now. Those people, the people that came to colonize as friends, they came with formula. They came to teach us how to do this. As long as they have taught us, it means we are under them. Because formulas keep improving. There's a book I bought now on education, and they discuss, no, it's on entrepreneurship. This is what they say. They talk about technology. They say technology is so dangerous. Be careful when you start a business, because technology can wipe it out in one day. One day. Now there is a fight on AI, right? Yes. They're even putting laws. In UK, they've already started, because AI is coming to replace humans. Simple as that. AI now will write a better customer report or marketing report than a human being. And the question is, if AI can produce me a market research report, why should I hire you? That's a concern. In California, Hollywood, there is a fight because AI is producing film scripts. The film writer is becoming redundant. You heard there was a strike? Yes. They are fighting for their jobs because, hey, chatbot is coming. Yes, producing movies. They are saying two things are important to stay ahead: innovation, sophistication. Innovation, sophistication. Countries that are innovative and sophisticated are always ahead. Always ahead. Post office is dying. What has killed the post office? Innovation and sophistication. Who posts these letters now? No. Technology came. We email. Landline is almost only remaining in offices. Homes, why do you want a landline in the office? In the home. To wake up from your bedroom to answer the phone in the thing. You can't. Are you with me? Everything now is online. Online, 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 online. AI is going to delete the judge. In June, AI preached a sermon in German to 300 people on the second coming of Christ. 300 people sat down to listen to a robot. And it put all the verses together, relevant to the second coming. Better than a human being can do. So very soon, why should we pay the pastor? AI is moving into the hospital, into operations. Precision. Precision. There's a debate now. I bought a magazine, very expensive magazine. It's a thin thing, 179 rand. But I bought it because the title is AI and the Mind. AI, consciousness, and the mind. And the things they are discussing in there are complicated stuff. But you can see that very soon, my friends, redundant jobs. It's coming quick. Very soon, AI will fly the aeroplane. Already it's on, autopilot, right? Yeah. Very soon it will lend it to whatever. They are now working on these driverless cars. Driverless cars. Where you just sit and it takes you to wherever you want to go. So the question is, how shall we protect ourselves from what we invented? Innovation and sophistication. There used to be the normal general taxi. You know the taxi? Where you would phone, The taxi driver will give you a phone number. These days there is Uber. Are you with me? Yeah, there's Uber. In Zambia there's Ulendo and Yango. Yeah. It's an app. Gone are the days of phoning, the people on taxis, they put up a fight. But you can't fight technology. The point I'm making, formula. Now, let's bring it to the Bible. I know you read the Bible. I want to share something in the Bible that shows that God is God of formula. Okay? Let's go to Genesis chapter 1. I like Genesis chapter 1 and 2. They are my favorite in the Bible. And the reason I like them is I call them the prototype, the original. What God wanted it to be. Genesis chapter 3 to Revelation 20 is we introduced that. When sin came in, things changed. But Genesis 1 and 2 are the original Bible because they describe a sinless world. That's what God wanted the world to be. God actually intended that the Bible should be one book and 2 chapters. Genesis 1 and 2. That's what God wanted. But then they came Genesis. But I want us to look at what he says. Now, the Bible says in the beginning, God created and things like that. And then I'm interested in verse 6. Listen to what it says. Then God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. You see that statement? In the midst, he says, let it separate the waters from the waters. When you read the Bible, the first few verses would say, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was formless and void, and darkness was over the surface of the earth, and the Spirit of God. When you read the Bible, there's no point where it will tell you, and God said, let there be water. It doesn't talk about the creation of water. The Bible will not tell you when God said, let there be darkness. They are there. But the creation of the firmament or the atmosphere is a very, very scientific formula that God used. In other words, here is a body of water. And God wants to create a firmament. What does he do? God inserted space between water. That's how he created the firmament. He inserted space between water, separated the water below and the water above. Meaning, the atmosphere is governed by water on top and below. And in between, he put living things. In other words, God first created a living zone. There is a living zone. This universe has zones where no living thing can survive. If you go up 45, if you go up, say, 100,000 feet, let me use feet, you can't survive. Aeroplanes cannot fly at 50,000 feet. The highest aeroplane that can fly is only Air Force One. A passenger thing. Air Force One is allowed to go to 45,000 feet. Anything that flies above 45,000 feet, the Americans will shoot it down. Because it's assumed it's a spy. When they are escaping with their president, they fly at 45 and they give a command. Any aircraft that will fly at 45,000 feet is after Air Force One, they shoot it down. That's how they operate. But when you fly in an aircraft, when you go to 38,000 feet, the cabin of the aeroplane is pressurized. The aeroplane, when they close the door of the aeroplane, they are trapping the ground atmosphere for you to take 30,000 feet above the ground, or 12 kilometers. You have to go with this. If they lose cabin pressure, the aeroplane will explode. And its force will suck you up. There's nothing you can hold. I was flying from here to Lusaka the other time, and we turned over Bulawayo. We had to come back to here. Why? Our ears started blocking. And then they say to us, we have a technical problem. We have to return to Johannesburg. We are going to fly at 10,000 feet to try and capture the lower, because our ears are popping. So we came and landed here. In the morning, they didn't want to scare us. In the morning, they said, no, one of the windscreen, an airplane has two windscreens, one of them had cracked. And that thing is very thick. If that thing had exploded, had gone off, the pressure from outside and inside would have gone. So, God creates a living zone. A zone where living things can survive. So he separates water above, water below. Why? What is water made of? H2O, right? You want to tell us what is it made of? Yes. Hydrogen and oxygen. So God creates a living zone where we have the water below pumping oxygen into the atmosphere. We have the atmosphere above pumping what? Oxygen. It creates a living zone where living creatures can live. Even plants. That's what God does before he puts humans. There are submarines that can stay at sea for 25 years without surfacing. They're there. Where do they get the oxygen? They have a formula, electrolysis. What do? They break the water down into hydrogen and oxygen. Then they pump the oxygen into the submarine. So, the submarine behaves like a fish. Process oxygen. They don't come to the surface. They can stay there for years. Just to prove God's formula. Water. When they research the planets in the universe, there's one thing they are looking for. You know this thing that they've sent to Mars? I think they call it the crawler or something. It's a very massive thing. You know, they are looking for a trace of water. They are going to drill rocks. They are going to if they can find a trace of water, then they know humans can live here. Water is the greatest scientific sign of life. Water. Why? H2O. They do go in their spaceships there, space suits, which they cannot take off. But if they can find that, hey, there are traces of water here, then they will tour the entire planet to try and find water. And it's interesting when you listen to them. They are saying, no, we want to repopulate the universe. And their plan is to, one was proposing to say, we will have to send 10 pregnant women. Yeah. We'll send 10 pregnant women to the other planet to bear children there, and then life will continue. Because boys and girls might be born. Life will continue. And somebody says, why are you sending women? Says, they last longer. Yes, women last longer. They can endure longer because physiologically they have slow metabolism. You know what metabolism is? The rate at which you burn energy. The reason why a man is stronger and faster is because your metabolism is what? Is high. In other words, women use a carburetor. You use direct injection. If you know what I'm talking about. Huh? Yeah. You use fuel injection, the woman uses carburetor. Slow. And they last longer. And somebody, made an example. Actually, I was writing one of the books where I likened the man to a sports car. You know a sports car, right? Yeah. It's so fast that it destroys the tires. So fast. That's why they have a pit stop. You have seen those pit stops? Yes. What do they do there? They change the tires. Because of the speed. It destroys the tires. The engine is too powerful. That's our man. Most of us men, we destroy ourselves. Yeah. We destroy ourselves. We wear ourselves out. We take more risk. We do strenuous things because of the high what? Metabolism. But that process introduces wear and tear. That's why many times your wife will bury you. Yeah. That's why there are more widows than widowers. But I was just making an example of what the scientists are saying. on little people. But when you look at God's formula, God has a formula in the creation of the earth. He creates a living soul. That's a scientific move. Living. In other words, God does not create haphazard. No, there's a formula in it. Formula in it. And after he has created man, this is what he says. He says, and he blessed them. And said, be fruitful, multiply, and fill. Those words, those 4 words, blessing, multiply, fruitful, fill, are spoken to unfallen beings. Meaning, the purpose of man being created there is to be fruitful, to multiply, and to fill. That's God's formula for man. And after he has made him, he says to Adam, you'll be he says, I want you you'll be responsible. He says, let him have dominion over 5 times. Over the fish, over the what, over the what, over the what. Your purpose in creation is to happen, to be fruitful, to multiply. And I'm not saying multiply children only. No. I know it's a nice profession to multiply children, but that's not the point. Okay? That multiplication is a holistic multiplication. Multiply yourself, multiply your talent, multiply your seed. Are you with me? Yes. Because if you only multiply your seed and you have not multiplied your talent, your formula, you will be overpopulated and you will starve. You will need to eat yellow maize. That's our experience in Africa. In Zambia, we have eaten yellow what? Maize. That yellow maize is not for consumption where it comes from. It's for livestock. It's for animals. It's donated to us. And it's written USAID. Are you with me? And they don't give it to us because they want to give it. No, they don't have space. They need new maize. So they ship it to us. Formula. They have a formula. Now, having a formula, what does it mean? A formula should give you what I call the 7 essentials. All of us have learned during COVID the meaning of the word essential. Yeah. That word is one of the most important words in the modern dictionary. Essential. Church became non-essential. Oh yeah. They told all of us, go home. Go and pray from home. God will hear you from home. You don't need to gather together. What did we do as a church? Huh? We listened, isn't it? We went home. We prayed home. Have we recovered from that completely? No. Some went for good. Why? Because for the first time we discovered that actually God can hear you from where? From home. He can hear you from home. So the threats of saying, no, you should come to church. If you don't come to church, we discovered actually those were just threats. You can pray from home. You are happening at home. So church became non-essential. Why? Because there came an invisible enemy the virus. The virus. So what you do now is you do it from the essential perspective. Have essential things. Because this is not the last virus. No. As long as they continue their experiments, you know how they made this one? The one that they are fighting about now? You know, the gain of function. Have you heard about gain of function? You have not heard about gain of function. Yeah. Gain of function, naturally, viruses that live in animals do not have the ability to cross to humans. So what the Chinese and the Americans were doing, they go and harvest viruses from bats and animals, take them into the lab, and tweak them with, because the virus is a protein, give them these proteins that give them ability to cross to. That's how COVID came. That's what they call gain of function. Naturally, it will only function in pigs, bats, and whatever. Even if you eat it, it won't come to you. But when they take it to the lab, it gains function. And then it can cross to humans. In America now, they are suing each other because Fauci, the head of the CDC, he was denying that America was not funding that program. Now they've discovered that America was also funding the program. And these labs are in classes. There is BLS1, BLS whatever, or BSL what. BSL level 5, 4 and 5 are the most dangerous laboratories. Because should anything escape from there, humans are gone. These laboratories are not usually found in Africa because of the high security. That's where they do these dangerous experiments. Now, I'm saying we are fighting an enemy, the virus, invisible enemy, rendered us kaput. Was the church able to pray? Pray the virus away? Huh? Were we able to pray the virus away? No. We had to run like the rest. And there's no research that says the virus killed fewer Christians. The church became a virus spreading center. In Bloemfontein, the virus came through a church what? Service. You heard the story. Yeah, church service. They had to close the church. Actually, in Bloemfontein, the virus was introduced by a church. It was introduced by a church. Why? And then we are told, no, only essential services. So, every man must have essential services. What are the essential services? Number one, we owe essential things. Every man must have the breath of life. That's essential number one. Essential number one. And Jesus says, what will it benefit you to gain the whole world and lose your own soul? That's essential number. In other words, as a man, as you wake up on earth, as you do stuff, you just ensure that whatever I'm doing is not at the expense. Life. In other words, every man, when you wake up in the morning as a man, your first call of duty is to deal with what I call the eternal ventilator. That is God himself. The eternal ventilator. That is God himself. You link with God first. That's essential number 1. Essential number 2, time. Life is measured in time. You manage your time. When you go to the graveyard, you know what they see there? What they do at the graveside? They will say born 1950 dash 1993. Your life is that dash. Are you following me? Yeah. Your life is the dash. That's your life. So essential number 2 is time. Manage your time. Take care of it. Everybody has 24 hours. You know that. Yeah, 24 hours. But within 24 hours, lives are different. Lives are totally different. 24 hours. The most intelligent person has 24 hours. The innovator, 24 hours. The athlete, 24 hours. The billionaire, 24 hours. The business owner, 24 hours. What do you do with your 24 hours? And they say, thank you for that, the day is divided into 3 segments. 8 hours at work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours for eating and play. Your real time is the 8 hours for eating and playing. That is your personal time. That's the time in which you invest. That's your time. That's your time of prosperity, if I may put it that way. Miles Monroe says, the first 8 hours you are working for someone else. The other 8 hours, that's when you work for yourself. Now, that's what makes a difference. Even if you are an employee, yes, give the employer their 8 hours. But your 8 hours, utilize what the employer has given you. In your 8 hours. I have a friend, he's a soldier, comes from Limpopo. And he says, we had a men's meeting and we were discussing. So tell us what you do. He says, I'm a property developer. A soldier, a property developer? He says, yes. He says, you know what I do? I go to the Kasi areas. I take my salary there. He says, I started at such a place, bought a house, small place, I upgraded it. Toilets inside and everything, bathrooms and what. I put people, they are renting. From your salary, he says, yes. He says, now that one has bought me a flat there, a flat there, a flat there, a flat there. But he's still a full-time what? Soldier. But during his 8 hours, he invests what he gets from the employer into his personal growth. During his time. Time. Manage your time. You know, in life we say, young people say, hey, you know, when I grow up, they forget they are growing up. When they are old like me, they say, if I was young like you. Yes, you were young, but you didn't manage your time. That's a serious essential. Let me tell you the truth. Anybody who wastes your time wastes your life. Because they are wasting something they can never repay you. No, they won't. And I want to criticize ourselves as church members. We are the biggest time wasters. Particularly the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You know, we are restless people. So restless that every day, everywhere, we have meetings. There's a church board meeting, there's a business meeting, there's a Sabbath school council, there's what. And sometimes a meeting will be called like for tomorrow for 10 in the morning. But some brethren will arrive at 11. Others arrived at 10 and they were waiting. And those who come late, they don't even apologize. They just sit. You have lost 1 hour eternally. An hour you will never recover. Time. I started the airline industry. Why an aeroplane cannot wait for a person? That industry makes money on time. When you buy a ticket, look at it carefully. The airport taxis sometimes are higher than the fare itself. The airport taxis. The minute that aircraft touches down, I think the minute it gets into the airport space, the taxis start kicking in. It will land there, they will clean it quickly, possibly they load it, it's gone. It's cheaper, they say, to keep it in the sky than on the ground. It's cheaper to fly it than to keep it on the ground. I one time flew from New Jersey, that's New Jersey, New York, New Jersey, across the Hudson River, to Hong Kong with my family. On the aircraft, my daughter misplaced the passport. So we get to Hong Kong now, we want to connect to Johannesburg, we are stranded. And they say to us, you cannot go. So we started making police reports and whatever. But the lady who lost her passport, she's not aware of what's happening. She's enjoying watching movies on the airport and doing also at peace. We are stressing. So we said, no, please check the aircraft. From New Jersey to here, they checked the aircraft. They said, there's nothing. Check again. They said, no, the aircraft is gone. Where? To Tokyo. Now, it flew all night. It flies via Iceland, that side. It lands, they clean it, it's in Tokyo. We got news to say your passport has been found in Tokyo when they were cleaning to load back. Our connection was 12 midnight. And they said, thank God, 21 hours that thing will be landing here. And indeed, 21 hours. They came with a piece of paper. We are waiting, Dr. Mwemba. Brethren, I jumped to my feet. And they said, please come to the counter. Your passport is here. Time. And we were able to connect to come here. Time. Time is your only coin. You spend it wisely. If you start managing your time, it makes a difference. I go to Europe, I've gone to Asia frequently. There, you don't need a car. Because public transport is what? Very efficient. The underground train system. You get into the train station, it will tell you South Coast, 2 minutes. You're standing there, 2 minutes, it's here. Opens its doors, you jump in. It will say Macy's Center, 1 minute. In 1 minute, the thing will be here. You can actually budget your life. You can budget your life because of the time management. I had gone to some town next to Las Vegas and I did an experiment. Okay? I wanted to see how they manage their time. So I got into a bus. I was going to a shopping mall. And I picked a timetable at the reception. The timetable was saying the bus would arrive at 8 in the morning and will return at 19 hours in the evening. So I wanted to see if that bus will put me back at 19 hours. I went to the station. Friends, 7:59 in the morning, the bus stopped in front of me. The doors opened. I got inside. I spent the whole day where I was. 6:59 in the evening, the bus stopped at the station. The doors opened. I got out. The driver looked at me. I don't know what made him say that, but he said to me, "This is the United States of America. If you miss the bus, sorry." Then he drove off. And I remained wondering, say, did he sense that I was checking their time management and things like that? Time. And I personally, I changed after that. I started budgeting my time. I used to write these books. I wake up home 5 a.m. I'm up. 30 minutes I clean up. 5:45 I drive to the office. Open the door. I used to find the sex workers by my door there. You know, they troubled me a bit, but later they got used to say this guy comes here all the time. And get there from 6 to 7:55. I'll be writing my books. 7:55, I close. I join worship up to 8:30. 8:30, we do our work. We knock off at 16:30. 16:30, I see them get into their cars. My time was budgeted. I'll stay in the office up to 19 hours. I continue with my writing. And then someone went to the president, it was Dr. Dave, and said, "Where does Gift get the time to write books?" It means he doesn't work. It means from 8 to 16:30 he's busy with the what? No. It was my time. 19 hours I go home, I'm with the family. Up to 22. How many hours? That's 3 hours. Okay? We watch our movies, we talk, we pray, we do everything. I'm at home. But 5 to 19, work and personal time. That's how I wrote my books. Time. I cannot overemphasize. You manage. That's the second essential. Very, very serious essential. The third essential, land. You must have what? Land. Whether it's soil or concrete, you must have it. Because you are not a bird of the air. Are you with me? Yes. You are not a bird of the air. Birds of the air are endangered species because they can be shot down. You are not a bird of the air. You need land. Guess what? Whatever you need in life, God either put it on top or under the land. In Swaziland, when I lived there, a young man comes to me and says, "Pastor, buy land." They no longer manufacture it. Did you hear that? Buy land, they no longer. It's a limited edition. But whatever you want, God put it either on top or under. That's what he did. The only thing he put for you in the sky is oxygen. That's all. But whatever you need for survival, whatever you need to grow, you will grow it here. Whatever you need to dig, you dig it where? Here. Rich countries, where did they find their wealth? Under the soil. Johannesburg. What is Johannesburg? It's gold, isn't it? Yes. That's why the whole area is called what? Gauteng. Gauta is gold. The whole city, the whole, even if there are functions now that they have developed, it all starts with what God put under. Vit Vatasrand. There is a story about this place by a man called George. He was coming from Bad Plus with his friend George. There was a gold rush in Bad Plus, you know that? Which didn't last long. So he came from there with his friend, and they were repairing fences along the way for the farmers. They came to the farm of Mr. Osteisen. George was also a prospector, so he found a stone of gold, Vidvatasran stone. So he went to Pretoria to buy rights. Okay? Rights. But in the process, he thought there was no more gold around. So what does he do? He sold his rights for 10 pounds. 10 pounds. You will find that information in the 5,000-year history of Africa by Martin Meredith. 10 pounds. He sold the whole thing. The prospectors who bought those rights, that's where Joburg started. But the guy gave it away for 10 pounds. What I'm trying to say is, get yourself a piece of land. If you can't have soil, at least concrete. In other words, get a property for whether it's a flat, whatever it is, get a piece of land. You will do well. That's an essential. That's an essential. After that essential, the other essential is food. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Huh? Yeah, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What starts first? Physiological needs. What is a physiological need? It's a need which your body feels. Your body tells you, I need this. That's a physiological need. You don't have to study it. When you are thirsty, the body will tell you, listen, the radiator is empty. You'll have to look for water. In fact, I need water. Who can give me water? I've not drank water since I came. Can you? Yes. You know, that's what we call a felt need. You feel it that you need this. That's an essential. When you go to the hospital next time and they give you a prescription, check what they write. They will say either after meals or before meals. But meals must be there. That's an essential. Unfortunately, this is the unfortunate part, Africa has been trapped at the physiological need level. We wake up to look for breakfast. After looking for breakfast, what do we look for? Lunch. After looking for lunch, we are trapped there. We live majority below the poverty what? Data line. Now, nature says, before you fill the stomach, you cannot think of anything else. Nothing. When the stomach demands, it shuts down innovation and sophistication. That's why we can't invent. No, we don't have time. I mean, at home, if you are playing or your child is playing, doing something, you know how we shout at them, stop that. Are you going to eat that? No, that's because to us, whatever you are doing must be related to putting food on the what? On the table. But those guys have solved the stomach issues. That's why they can sit and dream of something totally different. That's why they dream of going to the moon. Who will eat going to the moon? Are you following me? Because they have solved their stomach issues. With us, we are still in the food packages. Food packages, food aid, food what? That's where we are. We are trapped there, you know. When we talk of revolutions, political parties talk of a revolution. Very unfortunate. A revolution without agriculture, where are you going to go? Do you know that a country that cannot feed itself will forever be oppressed? A family that cannot feed itself can never claim self-determination. That's the plight of Africa. Hunger, starvation. You will never hear a country, maybe later, you won't hear that South Africa has exported bags of maize to the United States. For what? They'll tell you we don't have space for that. No. There are countries where you can't send food to. If they want that particular food, they will buy it. But you cannot donate it to them. They will reject it. I thank you. Sure. So, that is one essential. The essential of food. You need food. I know. I was dry. Yeah. It will solve itself inside. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay. So what I was saying is that essential food is an essential. I picked a magazine. I'm sorry I talk about Europe a lot. I'm not bragging. I'm just giving you examples. I picked a magazine, Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street? Yeah. There's a journal they publish there. And I thank God I picked it. I actually bought it. And I was reading it. And they did a research. They asked a question. Which child has a better advantage? The city boy or the rural boy? Who has the advantage? They said the city boy grows up in the back seat of the car, isn't it? They are driven to school. They are fetched from school. The city boy grows up with gadgets to play with. PlayStation, whatever. They grow up with those things. The city boy is not exposed to the elements. The elements, nature, wind, cold, rain, sun. The city boy is not exposed to that. Why? He grows in the back seat of the what? The Mercedes. The city boy. The city boy has breakfast every day and a packed lunch. That's the city boy. The rural boy is exposed to elements. The wind, the rain, the heat, the cold. They all affect him. Maybe he doesn't even sleep well. Maybe he sleeps on the floor. That's a rural boy. The rural boy does not grow up in the back seat of the car. He grows up on his legs. Are you following me? He grows up on his legs. Because whatever he does, he has to work for it. He walks in the home, he walks to school. That's the rural boy. The city boy may have an advantage and a disadvantage of being a couch potato, because he spends time watching and eating chips while he watches. From chips, ice cream, sweets, whatever, drinks and things, everything is there. That's a city boy. That's a big disadvantage. The rural boy doesn't have those amenities. He runs home. The activities he's sent to do, he doesn't do them indoors. He does them where? Outdoors. Go and collect the goats, collect the cows. Please chase that chicken. Please do that. He's always there, outside. Then the question is, who has the advantage in life? The rural boy. You know what the research says? They say the rural boy has an advantage on condition he has breakfast. On condition he has what? Breakfast. Of all the meals you can give the rural boy, give him breakfast. Why? They say the rural boy, by default, if he has breakfast, this is how it works. If he has breakfast, because he runs to school, his metabolism is very good. By running to school, he is exercised. He's not exercising, he's going to school, but the process exercises him. He has very good blood flow. His blood is very oxygenated. That's what aerobics does. Very oxygenated. And if he has had breakfast, the sugar, the glucose that the brain needs is well transported in the system. They say by the time he sits down in front of the teacher, his brain is like a sponge. He absorbs everything. Therefore, he tends to be more intelligent. That's why some of the most intelligent people on earth are poor people. Then they say the second advantage is his body. The rural boy develops a stronger skeleton than the city boy. Because of his running to school, he is in the formative stage, 0 to 7 up to 12. That's when your bones shape up. He's in the formative stage. He develops his stronger bones. If they are playing soccer with the city boy and they knock knees, the city boy is kaput. The rural boy remains running. Because his bones are what? Are strong. If you were to compare them to chicken, the city boy is like a broiler. The white chicken. The rural boy is like what they call the hard body. You can check from chicken. Why is the rural chicken a hard body? It's a free range, isn't it? Yeah, its bones are strong. And somebody was even saying, if you take that very broiler and make it free range, it changes into a hard body. If you let it move like that. Now I'm talking of the essential aspect of food. Very essential. Now, there are times when we guys will spend more money on gadgets with a half-empty fridge because of liabilities. If you want to provide for your family, provide food. Let your children eat well. You'd rather drive one car for 7 years but let the table be rich. If your children have breakfast, you are giving them one powerful essential. Very essential. The other essential, I won't mention the other one, but let me mention one more essential. Money. 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 Listen, money is no respecter of persons. You need money. Now there are songs that we Adventists sing, which we should not be singing. You know, there are songs like, I'm satisfied with just a little silver, just a little gold. That's not true. Don't sing such songs. Don't sing such songs. I can defend what I'm saying. Don't sing such songs. Don't be satisfied with a little silver and a little gold. You need gold. You need silver. In other words, you need resources. I'm not talking about having wealth and money, but what? Resources. You need resources. As a happening man, you must be resourced. You just have to be resourced. When you wake up, look for resources. God created money before he created man. Genesis will tell you. He says, and there was a river that flowed. The first one is Pishon. And then it will say, and the gold. It says it flows around the land of Havilah. And the gold of that land is precious. In other words, before even God created man, he created what? Gold. What is money? Money is not the rand. It's a gold. I picked a gentleman from Alwar North. I was coming into Bloemfontein. Was coming to Cowton, whatever. Is it Cowtonville? A mining place. Yeah. So he says to me, I said, where are you going? He says, no, I'm going to dig money. I said, you dig money? He says, yes, we dig money. I said, what do you mean? Then he took out money. He says, this is not money. This is the image of money. The rand is not money. Okay, he says, yes. Real money is what? Gold. And you know what I'm talking about. In the old days, the economies were measured against the gold bullion. So he says, money is gold. He says, Mfundis, you will never meet a vehicle on the road carrying gold. He says, gold doesn't drive here. What? He says, no. You have heard of cash haste and whatever. You never hear cash hate of God. No. Have you heard it? No. You won't meet it. Coin security can't carry it. He says, Mfundisi, gold moves in helicopters. Says from the mine, there's a helipad on top. That gold, those bars, are put in the helicopter. From the helipad, it will fly to another helipad. It will land there, it goes down into the vaults, into the earth. It's hidden there. That's gold. He says, that's money. That's money. Now God created what? Gold. Money. Some he put under, some he put on top. Money. When you watch news tonight and they say, let's go to the markets, check what metal they start with. $1,900 per what? Per ounce. Not even a kilogram. Per ounce. And they will show that arrow, if it's going down, it's red. If it shows up, it's what? Green. And then it will say, and God will say, let them build me a sanctuary. Exodus 25. Go to every willing man. Let them bring what? Gold and silver. He is demanding for gold. That's God himself. And then Exodus 3:21, he will say, no, when you go to that land of Egypt, when you come out, you will plunder the Egyptians. You will come out with. Then you go to Exodus 12:35 and 36. And the Bible will say, and the Israelites went to the Egyptians and asked from them articles of silver and what? And gold. And the Egyptians gave them and said, get out of here. Why? Because at that time, Egypt was the richest nation on earth. Actually, it is the only nation on earth that ruled itself for 3,000 years without interruption. Now imagine the gold that they gathered in 3,000. When you go there, go to the Egyptian museum, you'll be amazed what they have there. Egypt was so powerful that even God in his curriculum vitae, he has Egypt. His CV. I'm the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. If you remove the name Egypt from the Hebrew Bible, the Bible will collapse. The Bible will lose its plot. Just remove the word Egypt, edit it all out. You don't have a Bible. You don't have a Bible. But wherever God is introducing himself, he must mention what? Egypt. And they plundered Egypt. So when they left the land of Egypt to the land of Canaan, their pockets were full. Full of what? Silver and gold. That's why in 25, in the wilderness, when he says, build me a sanctuary, what do they bring? Gold. So God created money. And you guys, you sing to say when you go to heaven, you walk on the streets of what? Gold. So there's gold on earth, there's gold in heaven. So don't fight gold. Gold is already in heaven. Don't fight it. Make it, use it. I'm a pastor, though I'm not directly employed now, but I know how we pastors preach. We'll stand here and say, I don't care what you own. I don't care what you drive. I don't care what you have. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Why are you cursing my blessings? I didn't steal these things. I sweated for them. Are you with me? Yes. Rather give me an opportunity to stand in front and say, guys, this is how the Lord has blessed me. So don't fight money. Money doesn't know that is in church. Money prints the Bible. Okay? Money builds the what? The church. These seats there, I don't know were they donated to you or you bought them. You had to put money together, isn't it? Yes. That's money. Even if they were donated to you, the manufacturer didn't manufacture them free. Somebody what? Paid. That's why we Adventists are very strong on stewardship. You manage money properly, you manage life. So look after money, make the money. Man doesn't respect whether your family was whatever. No, it has no racial issues. Money is what? Is money. And by the way, money doesn't come to you because you are righteous. No. Money doesn't go with morality. Money goes with the behavior that makes money. Yeah. If your behavior is a money-making behavior, money will do what? Will come. In other words, I'm trying to say, righteousness is not equivalent to money-making. No. Because you know what? Sometimes you can righteously excuse yourself into laziness by keeping saying it's not the will of God. No, it's the will of God. It's you who's lazy. Yeah. And now you start scheming and condemning people who are doing well. Yeah, they are selling drugs. No. They are working hard. Because you have money-making behavior. What does money do? Money comes. That's how it works. You go out and sell something. Somebody will buy it. Sell a lot of it. You will accumulate a lot of money. Sooner or later they will say, nah, corruption. That guy is corrupt. You are not corrupt. You just do behavior that makes what? Money. Money. If you die and your coffin is being lowered and the 200 rand note drops on the coffin, you know what they will say? Whoa. Wait. Let's remove the what? Money. No, when are you continue down? They will remove the money because it's government property. That's why it's called the currency. Money is called what? Currency. What is currency? Current. What is current? Currency. Money is current. It's now. It's happening. It happens. As we are talking now, money is moving everywhere. It's happening. It's flowing. It's a current. It moves. Just pray that it moves through your hands. You cannot keep it. You only keep it temporarily, but it has to go. When you go to Pick and Pay and you are pushing a trolley, you push a trolley and you get to the till. Don't go to the till if you don't have money with a full trolley. Don't. Because that machine there does not scan prayer. No, you can't pay with prayer. You can't say, hey, brethren, let's pray. They will call security. Are you with me? That machine is designed to scan what? Money. It's an essential for us believers. Why? Because the ministry requires what? Money. You see, I'm talking here. You see this thing? This sound system that I'm using now. Money. I'm spending money here on this thing. This thing that is shining, ESCOM doesn't care whether you are praying or not. Yeah. The bill is coming. Yes. And you can't go to ESCOM to say, listen here, we were praying. Please. We were. No. They'll say, fine, that was your business. Our business you pay. You need money. So, Christians should make money. Make the money, bring the share of God to God. Because this movement, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, needs what? Money. You have to fund it. That's why you bring your tithes and your offering. Now, you cannot bring tithes and offerings if you are not making the money. If you are not happening properly, bring the money. One pastor said, no, for now we have enough hearts. Don't give your heart. Give us the what? The money. Don't give us your heart. Because someone said, no, I'll just give my heart to the Lord. Fine, keep your heart for now, but give us the money. We need the money. I think I'm sounding out of order. But the truth is, when the wise men came to see Jesus, what did they bring him? Huh? Gifts. Let's name the gifts. They brought, Matthew 2, verse 11. They brought gifts, frankincense, myrrh, and gold. They're bringing to the baby. He didn't even see it. But they're bringing gold because this is the creator of what? Of gold. Meaning, you don't come to God empty-handed. That's the principle. You don't approach God empty-handed. He is the giver, but you come with the gifts. That's how you do it. You come with the gifts. So, money is a serious, serious essential. Work for money, make money, teach your children how to handle money. Money is for better or for worse. For better or for worse. You don't have it, you have problems. You have it, you have problems. But you must have it. A friend of mine says to me, you know, on earth, my friend, there are two things you must look for. Only two, the rest will come on their own. He says, first of all, look for God. Find God. Let him be your God. Find him. Don't rest. In fact, you find it in Matthew 6:33. Seek ye first the kingdom. Don't rest until you've found him. After you've found him, ask him, Jehovah, show me where the money is. Did you hear that? You have found him. Don't start with looking for money. No. Look for him. Let him show you where the money is. Because if he shows you, then whatever you acquire will be acquired righteously. If he shows you. And he says, after he has shown you, don't grab and run. Make another request. To say, Jehovah, thank you for the money. Now grant me the wisdom to manage it to your glory. Because that's a very, very powerful force. If you read the very Matthew, when God compares himself to a force that competes with him, what is it? Money. He says you can't worship God and what? Mammon. I'm a literature evangelist. I grew up selling books. I was selling books in one country. I think it was in Botswana. And I found a gentleman by the name of Peter Goldman. Yeah, a white guy. So I went there and I was canvassing. And, you know, he looked at me and smiled because I'd memorized my sales talk very well. I was very impressed. And when he was smiling, I thought he's going to buy. And when I finished, he says, oh, gift, that was nice. Hey, that was really good. But listen, my friend, Christianity is for poor people. That's what he told me. Christianity is for poor people. He says, I answer my prayers. Yes. He says, I answer my prayers. If I want something, I go to the bank, get money, do what I want to do. Because money will open all the doors I want to be opened. That's Peter Goldman. Christianity is for poor people. I know it's not true, but it's true to some extent. Christianity is for poor people. That's why here we were full in the morning. If we were to give 2 men 10 million each, you are pretty sure they will not be in church the next Sabbath. No, they won't. They will be very busy. Are you with me? Oh yeah, they'll be in Hawaii, they'll be in Thailand, they'll be on the beach. They'll say, would rather worship by the sea. Not in church. I'm talking about the power and force of what? Mammon, money. Another friend of mine says, remember, every man has his price on earth. Money commoditizes people. Money can turn you into a commodity, a product. You can be sold. Yeah, you can easily be sold. Some of us are cheap, some are expensive. There are those who are considered expensive, sold expensive. Those who are cheap, 5,000, get rid of him. Fine. You are gone. That's money. You achieve good, you achieve bad. If you have two people, you put them on a minibus taxi and you say you're going to Bloomford Day. Okay? You give the other one, you put 1 million in their bag. The other one you put 500. Put them on one minibus taxi. If there is a thief on the bus, he will know who's carrying money. Yes, he will. Very intelligent. He will know. I'll tell you how he will know. You see, the person with 500 rand, you know what they'll do? They'll put it in their wallet, isn't it? Or in the bag. Sit with it nicely. The person with 1 million will hold the bag like this. They will hold it like this. And when they enter the bus, they will scan every face. Yeah, they will scan every face. Who has the potential of stealing here? Are you with me? If there is a thief, he will read it in their eyes. This one is carrying something what? Important. Why scanning the eyes? Those who are carrying little money, they will just go in and look for a seat and sit down. This one will hold the bag like this. And they will doze. And when they doze, when they wake up, the reflex will be the bag to check if the bag is there. And if they feel so sleepy, they will take the bag and sit on it. The thief will know that bag. There's something. Why? It is the spirit and the power of money. When a man has money, he's very arrogant. Very arrogant. That's why money. It's like carrying a gun. When a man has a gun, he's very arrogant. You know that? Oh yeah. Very, very arrogant. By the way, don't play with a person with a gun. That thing will not leave you standing. Don't. But when a person has a gun, they become very arrogant, very uncontrollable. When they have money, hey, they care not. A friend of mine, a rich one, told me, he lives in Joburg here, and he says he went to Germany to lobby for a sponsorship of some big project. And then they coached him there on how to treat rich people. Says there are two things rich people don't like. One, they don't like looking for a seat, where to sit. If you invite a rich person to Golden Harvest, make sure the seat is what? Reserved. And walk them to the seat. That's rich people. They don't look for a seat. It's me to look for a seat. Which one is empty? The rich, they want to be led from the car. Actually, the first thing the rich don't want looking for a place to park their car. When they enter the gate, their parking space must be reserved. So they'll drive there, park their car. From there, they must be walked to the what? To the seat. You get there, you show them the seat, you've got them. If they come in, they don't find parking. They come in, they can't find a seat. That's the last time you see them. They don't care. They don't owe you. No, they don't owe you. But sometimes as Christians we feel like, oh, no. This is church, we are all equal here. Yes, we are all equal. But remember, they are not yet a Christian. They don't yet have your mindset. After some time, they'll become equal. They'll behave like you. But if you invite them, even if you have invited them for a special program, make sure you behave accordingly. Lead them accordingly. Even when they want to, you want them to talk, you will stand up first. You will show them to the podium. Give them the mic. They don't like asking, which mic am I going to use? You hand them a what? A mic. And they don't want to talk and it doesn't. Not the way we do it today. Rich people don't like that. Give them a functioning what? Mic. They talk, they speak, they are done. You do all those things, you've gotten their heart because you have recognized them. After they've repented, now they can ask, which mic, brethren, is working? By then they have changed, right? Yes. But don't try to impose your humility on them. They are not yet humble. But they will be humble later. What are we talking about? We are talking about money. Money is very powerful. That's why when you have met God, you have asked him where the money is. Now, request him to grant you the wisdom, the humility to manage it to his glory. You manage it to his glory, you will live a long life. Happily ever after. You manage it properly. Because money does not only achieve things, it attracts things. It attracts things. Things that you never dreamed of, money will bring them. The question is, will you resist them? That's the problem. It brings a lot of things. Some of things which are very, very nice and entertaining. Some of things which you did not afford before. But now you can afford them. Will you resist them? That's money. But make money to his glory. Bring it to the judge. Let him bless it. Let the Lord bless it ever after. All right, let's have a question or two, and then we do business. Who has a question? We close, we go. I see a lot of cars outside. Are these people still coming back here? Because they left in buses and stuff like that. Okay. Pardon? Oh, okay. Yeah, let's have a question. Let's have a discussion, question, opposition, clarity. Yes. We need a mic that side. Can you?
Thank you, Pastor. Pastor, I only have one question about the money making.
Yes.
I'm happy none of my sons were here because they would be having endless debate on that about how you make the money. pastor said, okay, he's selling drugs and he's being successful there. That is happening, he's selling drugs. Will the money that he makes from those drugs be welcome as tithes?
Who is selling drugs?
Hmm? No, because...
Or you are saying if a person is selling drugs?
Yes.
No. Let me repeat this. I'm saying there are two things you must look for on earth. Look for God. Find him. Okay? Only when you have found him, ask him, where is the what? The money. And I'm saying, if God shows you the money, you will make it righteously. So I'm saying, before you go to the money, go to who?
To God.
To God.
Yeah.
And your question, when you say where is the money, you are actually saying, God, how do I make what?
The
money.
Yes.
God will give you the ethical principles of making money.
Okay.
Yeah. God will never send you to sell drugs and destroy lives in order to make money. No. Start with God, because he created the money. And he must guide you on the principles of how to make that money.
I don't know if I should make this example.
Go ahead.
Which is a true example, Pastor.
Yes.
Here in Gauteng,
Yes.
Pastor knows Lenasia. Okay. There is a Seventh-day Adventist church in Lenasia that was built
Okay.
by, I think the missions, they were instrumental. The whole family were Adventists.
Yes.
Actually, our parents were friends.
Yes.
One of the sons of that family, Adventist family, he stopped going to church, but he started a business of entertainment, running dances, halls, like he got halls and started hiring it out. And my husband and his brothers were band players. They were not Adventist. I came from an Adventist home, but he's not. And he never became an Adventist. But they were playing.
Can you bring the mic to your mouth? So
They were
I can
playing band. So David Marshall was hiring them. And he was making a lot of money. And most of the shows, even competitions of ballroom dancing and all that, very popular amongst the non-white, colored and Indians. Yeah. And there was a debate, or some other people felt that that his donation towards building the church was not welcome.
Okay.
Because he was running this type of business
Okay.
in like Friday nights and Saturday nights or something.
Okay.
That is why when you said that, I thought, I don't think Pastor realizes what is. I don't think he means that a person can, have that kind of money and think God has blessed him with it. That man is blessed.
Yeah. No. I don't advocate dirty money.
Yeah.
No.
That is dirty money.
Yeah.
And
I
God
don't
does not
advocate
want
dirty
that kind
money.
of money.
Yeah. The formula I'm putting across, I want you to hear me well, brethren.
Yeah.
When you make money, where do you start? With God. Why? He created it. He created it. So start with him. Let him give you the wisdom. Let him give you the ethical principles of how to make what?
The
Money. Make it righteously, because it's going to serve in the temple. So, yeah, no, I don't advocate dirty money.
No, I'm happy.
I may not be the local pastor of that place, but if I have the knowledge of where you are getting the money from, we would have to sit down and counsel you. to say, no, no, no. We are Christian business people.
Yes.
God's children do not make money with the shortcuts.
Yes.
They sweat for it. They sweat for it in ways that do not leave distraction behind. Neither corrupting. No. So start with God. Ask God to help you. Ask God to guide you. You will make a lot of it.
Yes.
And you will bring a lot of it. And the church will progress. Remember, all the things that the Lord talks about to help the poor, they cost what?
Money. Yeah.
I was hungry. You did not feed me. How will you do that? You'll have to buy the food. I was naked. You didn't clothe me. What does it require? Money. In other words, you saw the ladies taking love packs, okay? They bought those things. They bought them. If they didn't buy, they got a sponsor. Still the sponsor had to give them money. So that's the principle behind Madam. Start with God. But after I've started with him, God needs partners and friends. Thank you for those questions and gave us clarity. Any other question? We are closing now. Now, as you think of questions, guys, I have this book, The Happening Man. I was just dealing with chapter 1, chapter 2, and 3 of this book. So, those who want it, I have some here. We will go outside and we will sell the books. Yes, we'll sell the books. You buy for yourself, you buy for your wife, you buy for your child. If you have a card, we have a card machine. We have a card machine. Do we have a question? Okay. Yes, sir. Yeah, give him a mic. We need to sell books outside before it's dark. Yes.
Okay. When the lesson started, you actually indicated that it's very important for men to read.
Yes.
Which is something that I value a lot. I read a lot.
Yes.
But then now my question comes from the fact that when you read, and the way that I have read, you acquire a lot of information which might sometimes conflict with what you, for example, with the Adventist faith. So let me give you an example. Lately I was reading on philosophy, right? And then I was reading on how, for example, how the scientific method developed. So I heard that you were giving a lot of references and of science, AI, and all that. And then now my thinking is, when you look at Isaac Newton, okay, I'm not going to talk about the things that you was talking about, but then his studies and most of his laws that he came with, they had some philosophical implications that started questioning the religious aspects of things. For example, after his discoveries, there is this thing that came from his, that is what we call deism, where he was like, no, there is a God, but even if there is a God, this God just created human beings and then he doesn't interfere with anything. So those are things that happen, and as you study and you gain more information, you come across a lot of things that might conflict with your faith. So now my question is, how then do we curb, or are we supposed to curb, or are we supposed to control what we read? Or if we read, how then can we say, no, this is not the correct information, this is the correct information? Like, how can you decide on what you should retain and what you should just ignore?
Oh, thank you. That's a very good question. Let me start with what we call friendly hostility. Friendly hostility. Actually, I wrote a small book entitled Friendly Hostility. Friendly hostility simply means things must be questioned. You must question things. In theology, we call it methodological doubt. When you tell me something, I shouldn't just accept it. I must doubt you until you give further proof. Then I can accept it. Now, Isaac Newton. Remember, he was a religious man also. Yes. In the morning I said, we may not agree with the individual, but if their testimony is factual, we will have to agree with it. Because they are an eyewitness. We may not agree with the individual, but if what they have is factual, we have no choice but to accept it, because we are accepting the facts. Isaac Newton was a philosopher and a scientist, but we have taken a lot of his what? Science. It's factual. There's nothing you can do about it. It's there. Yes, reading. There is material that is very dangerous. And that's where your question comes in. Should we control what we read? Oh yes, we should. When I grew up reading small books called James Hadley Chase. I don't know whether you came across those books. Have you heard of James Hadley Chase? Yeah. It was powerful fiction. Very serious fiction. We would go to school, in high school, with James Hadley Chase. One bright summer morning. And you put it under your desk. You are reading, because we were hooked on those things. It was pure fiction. It became so bad in the Zambian education system that they banned the book. It was no longer in the shops. It was gone. Why? Because it was corrupting young men. I remember one book that I read. It's One Bright Summer Morning, where this boy, when he would fight, or is it lay here among the lilies? I read a lot of them. He would tie a chain first, a bicycle chain, on his fist. And whoever he punched, he broke jaws. Zambian high school boys started doing that in their petty fights. Guys were moving with the bicycle what? Chains. When they go for a concert in the evening, you see chains. And people were injured because of that influence. So the Zambian government banned that, stopped it. So indeed, we don't read everything. We are selective on what we read. In fact, even in your home, watch what your children are reading. Because books have more power than a television, scientifically. And it's researched. When you read books, you develop more brain neurons and pathways of thinking than when you watch TV. So we don't read everything. We select what we read. Yeah. Okay. Do we have another question? I think we are. Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. Mine is with regards to the land issue, or the aspect that you spoke about the land, that you must get land.
Yes.
Concrete or the actual soil.
Yes.
And I just want to think about it in the context of a young man living in the modern day South Africa.
Yes.
And how difficult it is.
Yes.
And I think it's one thing to talk about it, to say, get land.
Yes.
And I just feel that maybe we need more in as far as get land and what it means.
Yes.
in our context, bearing in mind the political situation.
Yes.
Recently I was just reading the statistics saying that around 76% of farming land in South Africa is owned by the white people.
Yes.
Only a small fraction belongs to the black people.
Yes.
Yeah, and how difficult it is,
Yes.
Even for those, sometimes who afford to just get a piece of land.
Yes.
So I just want to think about it like how pragmatic
Yes.
the issue of land can it be, especially in our context as young people
Yes.
in this church. Thank you.
Yes. I think you need to get it. You get it early. You start early. Don't start like me. Because it's a process. You can't wake up and acquire it today. Because it is been made expensive. The processes are there. But if you start early, you see the challenge is that, well, you know how business people say. They say lower class people spend money on food and survival. Middle class on liabilities. The rich assets. Now, most of the young people are middle class. They want to buy something they can move around with to show that they are now there. And they want to buy a house when they are 40. And how long do you take to pay for a house? Standard is 20 years, isn't it? Yes, standard is 20 years. But when they start working, suppose they start working at 25, and they have money. They have money, they are still single and whatever, they are playing. Yeah, start early. So that by the time you are 45 or whatever, the first property has been what? Paid off. And when you have paid off the first property, you have a chain reaction. Because that property now buys you another. That's how it works. It's the timing that is important. The hardship is there, but the timing is very, very important. You need something in your name. Something in your name. And when I talk about land, it's true. I said, whatever you need on earth, God either put it under or on top. Under or on top. When I drive to Cape Town from Bloemfontein, even from here, along the road is a fence. I've driven so many times to Cape Town, I see the fence. Sometimes I even see the fence running across a mountain. It's a fence. This is what I did the other time. I went to Spain, Madrid. The church is good, it sends you everywhere. I took my camera, okay? I took my camera. And I wanted to take aerial views of the areas around the airport. Airports are usually surrounded by farms, So I took my camera, Spain there, Madrid, I took pictures. On coming back, I was coming through Heathrow, I took pictures. I came to Joburg here, I took pictures. On that trip, I was going to end up in East London. I flew from Joburg. When you fly from Joburg to East London, you go via Free State, over Lesotho, Eastern Cape. I took pictures from above. This is what I was trying to check. Live capital and dead capital. Dead capital. Live capital is land deeded to you. That's live capital. Because it makes what? Money. It's live capital. It multiplies itself. Most Africans live on dead capital. And when I took pictures going there, I could see the villages below. Undeeded, untitled. They cannot use that land as a collateral to get anything. But the Afrikaner, in short, he has 2,000 hectares of land. He will walk into Nedbank and say, I need 50 million. The bank says, what do you have? This is what I have. My farm is valued at 150 million, or whatever it is. The bank gives. And he takes that 50 million, he goes and buys a whole block of flats. You don't know him. You don't know him. But because of that capital he has, he's able to multiply himself. So you start early, but you must get it. You must get it. And of course, it's a battle that everyone is fighting about. But start early, get it for yourself, even if it's a flat, even if it's a small room, but get it for yourself. You will do better. Don't rush for a GTI. Are you with me? A GTI is the same price as a flat. Do you know that? But the bank will want you to pay in 5 years. GTI will cost you 700,000. There are some places advertised 700,000. But you crash the GTI. And it depreciates. And you know when you buy the GTI, you know how it depreciates? When you get into the showroom, even before you drive it out of as long as the wheel has turned 360 degrees, it's no longer new. And that's what we rush for. So you start early, you do good. It's obtainable. Okay, we are done here. Elder, you are here. Are people coming inside to close? Thank you very much. Let me surrender here and prepare to sell. Hey, I have a challenge to the men. Today is Women's Day. Do we have a man who can buy books for the women? A resourced person? Huh? To that, yeah, give her the mic, please. Yes. Thank you, madam.
Happy Sabbath for everybody. And
Yeah.
I think I can say I am a woman, but this is for men. But I think God had a purpose to put me here because of this question of this young man. Pastor, I'm from the Eastern Cape, and I'm sure those photos that you took flying to East London,
Yes.
you must have passed if you were coming over Lesotho that way.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that our young people, young South Africans do not know. And they do not know it because the information has been withheld from them by the politicians.
Okay.
The politicians, yes, they are now black. We all wanted the change, but we did not know what's going to happen. The young people, our young people do not know that all that land in the previously homelands, they have been mentally conditioned to condemn the idea of homelands and equate it to something that was brought about by the white man. No. The only thing that happened after Verwoerd was that they gave a name to places that were already existing and the people were living there. I was born and brought up in the Transkei. That is my homeland. And we've got a vast land, a piece of land there. Yes, Pastor, you cannot go to the bank and use it as a collateral. But you can use it as God instructs us. And with all the enlightenment and information and instruction from Sister White. People with land like us. I've got land that I've been, it's a family land. Those big stretches of land, they are there. They do not belong to the white men. They never did. And they do not belong. But now they will tell you as a government, it is perpetual, though you say untitled. Yes, it's untitled because it's PTO, permission to occupy. That's what those lands. I don't know the languages of the other homelands, right? But Botswana was a homeland. Transkei was a homeland. Ciskei was a homeland. KwaZulu-Natal is a homeland. You understand, Pastor? But the Zulus were living there. The Xhosas were living there. The Sothos were living there. The Tswanas were living there together. It's not the colonization that moved them and put them in one place. That land belongs to them. And it belongs to the, how can I say, perpetual, it is titled like perpetual occupation, like our land, perpetual occupation, which means we cannot, one person cannot sell.
Okay.
You understand, Pastor? But the land is there. And all these young people that are stuck here in the towns have to do is to find out where their homelands are and go there and claim their land. It is there. And Pastor, the government, which is now the politicians, they are selling those tracts of lands to the Arabs and the Chinese. The whole coast down in Butterworth, that side.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
all they have to do, Pastor, education. They must read and they must delve into the historical books of South Africa, and they will find out that that land still is available to them.
Okay. Thank you very much. We appreciate. We appreciate. Please give us guidance.
We are starting a church business meeting for members. It's been announced. So I'm going to pray. God in heaven, we thank you for this afternoon program, and thank you for the pastor that has been leading us. Bless us now, dear God, as we transit to the church business meeting. We pray and ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. So we know that members, full members at Golden Harvest, we attend the church business meeting